What is up, Broncos Country? And how you doing, Orange and Blue crew? Welcome to the April 8th edition of the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast here on the Orange and Blue Network and on the MHRT Network. Very excited to have you here tonight. It is still a quiet time in Broncos Country. Not a whole lot of news going around out there for Broncos fans. So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to break down the roster as it stands right now. And we're going to make our prediction of what this team would do if the season started tomorrow with the roster as it is. It's going to be a good time. It's pre-draft, so we've got a lot to talk about, some fun stuff to talk about. Don't miss it. Don't go anywhere. This is the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. Let's go.
Smooth, the pins to chew, breaking down plays about to debut. Never pride in every view, nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Bright lights of my heart in our view. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. From draft picks to game reviews, celebrating wins and the lies and the clues. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. No orange and blue.
Nothing rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast.
What's up, Broncos Country? And how you doing, Orange and Blue crew? What's up? And welcome to the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast.
Yes, go.
Gotta get that horse to winning. Oh, man, that's one very, very enthusiastic horse, man. Like, you know,
As it
try to
should be,
train
you know,
the
with
damn
Broncos
thing
Country.
to Winnie the one time, but she gets so excited she gets going and she can't stop. So it's a good thing with a woman, not necessarily the best thing with a whinnying horse. So
Oh my God. Oh, man.
all right, guys, welcome to the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast here on the Orange and Blue Network and on the MHRT Network. I'm Johnny Baki, the Mile High Viking, and with me, as always, my cousin, my childhood best friend, who's looking a lot darker today than he usually does. I'm just kidding, because Jay turns 35 years old today and decided to take the day off for his birthday. So I am actually joined tonight by fanatic Dak Marquez of the upcoming Broncos Bros Podcast right here on the Orange and Blue Network. What's up, Dak? How's your week been?
What's up? Let's go. I'm fired up. Thanks for having me back. It feels good to join you. Happy birthday to Jay, the Dream Weaver. 35. Wow.
Yeah,
Like it.
yeah. You know, Jay and I are separated by 1 year. I'm the oldest of the cousins on that side of on that side of our family, and then there's Jay. He came in like right behind me, and we were like, you know, inseparable from basically his birth.
Awesome.
So
I like that.
you know,
That's good.
oh yeah, he messages me a couple days ago, and he's like, "Hey, dude, I'm just calling in sick for Tuesday because it's, you know, for my birthday."
Yeah.
And so, you know, so I really, really, really appreciate you popping in and joining me tonight. You know, it's going to be a fun show. Once again, we're kind of at that weird point in the off season where there just isn't a whole lot of news coming out or going around. You know, we just don't have a whole lot to, you know, new stuff to discuss.
Hurry up and wait.
So-
It kind of feels like right now, bro. Honestly, like, you know, we got how many days? Like, I mean, 2 weeks from the draft, I think we said. Not a lot going on really within Broncos Country in terms of signings or anything. A lot of draft chatter, of course, you know, about the skill positions, but At this point, you just want the draft to get here already. It's like, hurry up, damn it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you, but I mean, here's the thing, like years and years before this, man, like, in the years leading up, there was always news leaking out of Dove Valley, and like we always had something new to talk about. Sean Payton went in there and he put the kibosh on that, man. He was like, no, absolutely no. Silence, radio silence. If you say a word, you're fired. Okay.
He's a damn good poker player, bro. Let me tell you, it seems like, you know what I mean? Keeps a straight face.
I am an avid I'm an avid poker player myself, and I would be terrified to play against that man. I'm telling you, like, I
don't play poker, but I get.
I play poker all the time. It's my favorite, gambling game to play. And I'm telling you, man, like I'm not afraid to face off with many people in the game of poker. But if Sean Payton sat down across the table from me, I'd be like, I'm out. Like I'm going to take my chips and I'm leaving the table. Like I'm done. Like
lips are
he
sealed,
is a
man.
master.
It's crazy. It's hard to gauge. This draft is kind of. I mean, other than last year, we knew what was going to happen. For the most part. But yeah, like you said, I mean, he's really held his cards close to his chest.
Did we?
I did, bro. It was for me. I felt like the quarterback was the way to go, 100%. But
yeah, but we still didn't know if that's what was going to happen or not.
That's true. He could have been Brock Bowers. If they would have.
Yeah, I mean, like that was that's what I was looking at. I was thinking Brock Bowers. Like we did. Yeah. Go.
I was all pro bow, like please draft a quarterback. Why wait? Because now you look at it now, bro, and it's like, God, I'm glad we didn't wait. I know there was a lot of folks pounding the table, like, let's wait to get Shador, but it's like, do we know for a fact that we're gonna be sitting that high in the top 10 with the premium pick to get a quarterback? You know what I mean?
Didn't need to be. We, mean, we stayed at 12 and we picked a quarterback that at that point in the draft, people were like, what are they doing? But Sean Payton knew who he wanted, and that's the kind of coach he is. He's like, I'm going to go get who I want. And he already has this. I mean, you've seen it. He already has this offseason. Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, Evan Ingram. He's like, I want him. I want him. I want him. And like, I mean, for crying out loud, we were outbid by the San Francisco 49ers for Dre Greenlaw. They like John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan flew to his house in Texas, tried to get him to stay and offer him more money. And he was like, nah, man, I'm going to the Broncos.
Hearing that news, bro, just feels so good. And it's surreal, that the Broncos are a destination because, I mean, ultimately he had a choice to go back to the Niners and be like, have that familiarity, with the organization.
It means we're security, a destination.
But we're a destination.
It means that we're a destination now. We're where players want to come to play. And that feeling is just so good.
It's because everybody knows Bo's a baller. He's big time, and he's only getting started.
Bo is Bo, baby. We love it. We love having Bo.
I thought you said go, Bo, go.
All right, guys. Well, this is the Nothing Rhymes Orange and Blue podcast. And if this is your first time ever watching or you haven't done so already, please make sure that you like, subscribe, share, comment. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Catch the audio version of our podcast on all your favorite platforms. Also, we are partnered with the MHRT network. So make sure that you also jump on over to MHRT, like, subscribe, share, and comment on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and even on Instagram. Guys, we would greatly appreciate it. That's how we grow, and that's how we're able to bring you better and more and even better content. So please help us out with that. Also, like we've been talking about how good it feels to be a destination, to be a place where players want to come. Another thing that's going to help you feel real good and get through each and every one of your days is the sponsor of today's show, which is Dubby Genderless Energy Blend. You can find the link in the bio below, dubby.gg. Jump on over there and check out Dubby. Dubby is amazing stuff. Comes in a multitude of delicious flavors. I mean, so many good flavors. So far, I've tried about 6 of the flavors that they have. I've done repeats on a couple of them because they were just that good. Dubby has the caffeine content to give you the kick in the pants you need to start your day. Every single cup of Dubby has 2 cups of coffee worth of caffeine in it, but regardless of the caffeine, you're not going to get the jitters or the crash because Dubby has no sugar in it. It also has no calories. It has no maltodextrin. It has no fillers. It has no artificial colors. It is nothing but amino acids, B vitamins, and nootropics to help keep you sharp and going throughout your day, including their patented nootropic called Neurofactor. Guys, this stuff is incredible. And the caffeine that's in Dubby is derived directly from the coffee plant. So it's as natural as can be, tastes great, gets you going, keeps you going without the jitters or the crash. I highly recommend you want to get a dub like the Broncos going to be getting dubs this season. Go on dub at
Dubs,
Dubby.
baby.
That's right. And you're going to punch in code NRWOB10 at the checkout because that's going to give you 10% off your order on us. So make sure you go on over to Dubby and punch in code NRWOB10, NRWOB10. Get yourself that 10% off and get yourself the dub. Woo! That was fun.
Love the dub. That was good. You're really good at that. Hopefully I could be that good when it comes
when you launch Broncos Bros. Listen, I will listen, you and I are going to type up a script together for your show for that.
I'm gonna look silly.
For me, for me, man, I've been plugging Dubby so long that it's just kind of second nature at this point. But it's good stuff.
Yep.
It's good stuff.
Muscle
So
memory.
guys, we've already got plenty of people, plenty of our friends in the comment stream. We got D-Rock hopping and reminding us of the devastating news that Denver sports fans got today. He says, "Hey, Lakers, are the GM and head coach still in the building?" Yep. Hey, Nuggies. Never mind. Let's go, Lakers. And of course, he is just pouring salt in the wound of the news that Denver sports fans got today of the firing of head coach Michael Malone from the Denver Nuggets. I got to tell you, we'll get to more of these comments here in a second, but I got to tell you, man, like I was devastated. Like damn near ruined my lunch break at work. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
it was shocking, bro. Just like
the writing was on the wall for Calvin Booth. Like,
right.
But there was, I feel like all of Nuggets Nation and everybody and pretty much anybody that follows the Nuggets has been screaming for the replacement or whatever of Calvin Booth for quite some time. But for Michael Malone, with 3 games left in the regular season, less than 1 week from the
an awkward time to do it, bro. Like of all times, you just wait till after the season.
Yeah, you fire a 10-year or nearly 10-year. If he had finished the season, it would have been 10 seasons with the Nuggets. Like 3 games before he celebrates 10 seasons with the Nuggets. You fire him with 1 week before the playoff. I mean, dude, Dak, what do you think of the timing of that? Because I am absolutely disgusted. I get that Kroenke or I know that there was issues between Calvin Booth and Michael Malone. In the background, we've heard about that. But for them to just out and out fire him this close to the playoffs,
I know he kind of touched on like maybe instilling some energy to leading up to the playoffs, with the new coach. But to me, it's shocking the time. It's awkward. I've never seen anything really like this since I've watched basketball being a fan.
Yeah.
But like ultimately, dude, it's like, it's bittersweet, but like, it's just weird, man. Cause it's like that Nuggets locker room already didn't have enough energy playing. The effort wasn't there. And you're telling me now that you go and fire, of course, shocking, Michael Malone. Like we knew Calvin Booth, like you alluded to, the writing was on the wall for him. But Michael Malone, man, just what he means to that Nuggets organization, it's heartbreaking for me, honestly.
The winningest coach in Nuggets history, nearly 10 years tenured, brought us our only championship, developed Nikola Jokic. I mean, all of these things, it just and
he was a vital go ahead, sorry, bro.
Oh no, go.
He was a vital part in like just the reconstruction of this organization, man. Because I remember we just had moved off from Brian Shaw at the time, that was a coach from the Lakers, an assistant, and we hired him. And then, you draft Jokic, you had like Gary Harris at that time, so you were trying to build like a culture and what the Broncos are doing, kind of like what we're doing now and stuff. And then like he gets us our first championship, and then to go out and fire him, being that he was our winningest head coach. I think I looked it up today. I think I want to say it was like 471 wins total, Doug Moe.
Something like that. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I don't know, man. It just sucks. And here's the thing. You mentioned it, that not Calvin Booth, but Josh Kroenke, president of the Denver Nuggets, son of the owner,
yes,
literally said that, that this, like you said, that they were looking to use it to, put some energy into the team. But for me, if I was on that team, and I've been with Coach Malone for years, for a lot of those guys, and you're this close to the playoffs, I would find this kind of move the opposite of energizing. I would find it deflating.
Yeah, letting you out of the tire,
I would find it like Tom Brady with a football, just deflating. Like when they go to step on the court tomorrow night against Sacramento, I feel like they're going to be like, why are we even here, man?
There's no confidence instilled with that decision to me, because you pulled the plug from this coaching stuff.
I kind of feel like there had to be something else going on behind the scenes that we don't know about, that hasn't been reported on, personal issues between people or whatever, arguments or whatever.
This
I don't
season had
know.
a weird feel to it altogether as a Nuggets fan.
It really did, man. I mean, and here's the truth. There's gonna be a shakeup on the Nuggets. I mean, with Calvin Booth gone, they're gonna bring in another new GM who's gonna shake up this roster and try to build towards another championship. So that they don't waste the back end of Nikola Jokic's career. But it just, I don't understand how you can think that this is a good idea this close to the playoffs. Not when you were there are what, 4-5 teams within a game and a half of each other jockeying
pretty close
for like the middle 4 spots in the playoffs, like, and you're one of those. Yeah. Like, it just doesn't it don't sit right with me, and honestly I don't think it's ever going to. Yeah, no. It was anyway
for sure.
Moving on, we have David Youngkin in the house saying, I have the Broncos going 11-6 or 12-5, and that was even before free agency. So, hey, David Youngkin already.
I like the optimism.
Me too. Victory Lap says, let's bow!
Let's bow! Bonos.
Awesome little colorful orange and blue diamonds there. Diamonds. Mile High City Baby 303, which is a new name on the Nothing Rhymes Orange and Blue podcast.
Thanks for joining us.
Welcome to the Orange and Blue crew.
My salute.
He says, finally got to watch you guys live. Appreciate that, Mile High City.
Let's go. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, that's cool.
David Youngkin is commenting on Jay's age. Jay is just a baby. Well, that means you're much older than I am as well, because I'm only 1 year older than he is. So
I'm a baby too. We're all babies on the show. No,
that's okay. That's okay. Mile High City Baby comes back in saying, I heard we might move up in the draft for running back for the Boise kid.
Ooh, that would be that would be pricey. That'd be real pricey.
To move up for Ashton Genty. I mean, there's rumors swirling everywhere, my friend, and who knows where a lot of them come from. A lot of it's just hopeful optimism of people. I do not see the Peyton and Peyton being willing to trade the capital away, one, that it would take to move up high enough to get someone like Ashton
getting Genty into the top 10 and giving up first round
and two
for next year.
With the depth of the running back class, I do not see them seeing him as such a boon that it would be worth that kind of move.
And me, Johnny, I'm a Hampton kind of guy, 3 down back. Like we've talked on it before on this show.
Yeah, but you know what? This, I know I do this every week, dude. I research a running back every week. I went from Hampton and I've moved off of Hampton. I know. I'm shocking.
You're not One Direction. You're allowed to you're allowed to change your opinion. That's
I know, and I have, because I sat and watched a lot of Caleb Johnson film this week.
He's solid though, bro.
I want Caleb Johnson. So we'll talk more about that. But we got Victory Lap saying Sean ain't playing.
No.
Absolutely. Mile High City Baby through the three says I play poker. Me too. That's how I ended up with 3 kids.
Yeah.
David Youngkin says Sean says a lot and says nothing all the time. Absolutely. He is a master of deception. I've said that. Like, he's like a magician, like he's like, hey, look right here. Look right here. Oh, but the trick's over here.
Bro, he finessed the Vikings into trading up to get J.J. McCarthy last year, bro. You know what I mean? So he's good at that.
Right.
And he joked about it after we drafted him.
He's very good at that.
Yeah.
He's very good at that. He is very, very good at that. Mile High City Baby popping and saying, so happy we got Bo. That's right, man. Like there's the addition of Bo Nix to this team has just changed the way we look
at this team.
Broncos.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
exactly.
I thought you said go, Bo, go.
Love that soundbite. Saying, we were talking about the drafting of Bo. He said, nope, it would have been the end of Sean Payton if we didn't get a QB at that point. I don't know if it's in the end, but I think he would have been highly criticized for it. And again, it's not just his decision; it's George Payton's as well. So it wouldn't just be him. Now, granted, he said it. I guarantee you, he said to George Payton, "I want Bo Nix. Go get Bo Nix. He's who I want." Victory lap. Everyone knows we on the rise.
Oh yeah, by far. Look out, NFL.
Shy Vargas asked us how we felt about the Nuggets head coach. It's good to see Shy in the house.
Welcome, Shy.
Shy is our resident hype man. And thanks to his wonderful contribution to the pregame show before the playoff game against Buffalo this year, Shy will be we will be offering Shy his own segment every single pregame show from here on out to just get Broncos Country straight hype, man.
I love it.
Like, he was so confident, man. He was like, he came in going like, Broncos 42, Buffalo 0, and he was so like, he was so hyped. It was great.
I love it.
Let me see here. Yeah, David Youngkin said to move 2 firsts and a second to move up for Ashton Genty. That's
pricey.
I mean, that's about
cheap,
what you would need to give up. That's about what you would need to give up to move up to the top 10 from 20. And I'm telling you, man, that's way too rich for my blood. Like we finally have we finally at a point now where we have our first round draft picks back. You know what I mean? Like we went so many years without a first round draft.
Let's cherish those.
Like dude,
Schmiegel,
if it's gonna be, like I said, Genty is a very special running back. He is. I don't take anything away from that. But what I also can comment on is how deep this running back class is, how much talent there is. It's a ready for a plethora of talent at the running back position in this draft. And so I don't, if he was the only super talented running back in this class, I could see making an argument to move up to get him when that's your biggest position of need. But this class has Genty, Omarion Hampton, Judkins, Johnson. A lot of people, some people don't like him, but Scatterbo. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And so, with all of these super talented running backs, I cannot see any world where you would, he's such a game changer that you'd need to give up that much capital to move up him. It just doesn't exist. So, Mike Carmelini, host of Mic'd Up Live and the Denver Broncos media battles, which yours truly competed in the other night, last Thursday night, and won. I would like to point out at one point, he says, can't wait for Jack's new show. We love Mike. Mike's good people. And a great friend of this show, of this network, and great friend to all of Broncos Country. So thank you, Mike. We appreciate you popping in.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate you.
Let's see. All right. So I think it's a good time to get started on kind of our main topic of the night.
Awesome.
It's kind of like I was talking about earlier, guys. We are at a point in the offseason where there is just not that much news to talk about. There is nothing coming out of Dove Valley. It's the same shows week in, week out. Everybody, all we want to talk about right now is the draft because it's the only light we currently see on the horizon is the draft. It's our oasis. We're walking through the desert, and somewhere ahead is the oasis that is the NFL draft, and we're not quite there. So, what we're going to talk about tonight, we're simply going to break down the Broncos' current roster as it stands right now. And then when we kind of have gone through it and talked about certain positions and certain players at those positions, we're going to kind of discuss, based on our prediction, what this team would do if the season were to start tomorrow with this roster as it is right now. It's all relative because things will change with the draft,
Right.
and likely after the draft, other free agent signings will probably be made. But as it stands right now, of course, we can assume that with the draft and with further free agency, that the Broncos are going to get better, right? We can make that argument that that's probably a safe assumption, right? So, if we can sit here and talk about what we think this team would be capable of right this minute, we can then look towards the future and be like, so what could we see happening after we've added more talent? So I don't know. I was grasping at straws when I came up with it, but I think it's going to be.
I like the idea. Good job, Johnny. I like that idea. It'll be fun.
Let's see. Mile High City Baby 303 says it's deep. I also like the kids from Ohio State. Absolutely.
Yeah, that duo's nasty.
They're all good, man. They're all good. This running back class, they go down. I don't know. I mean, this could be a hot take, but this running back class could go down in history as one of the most talented running back classes in history.
Kind of like last year with the quarterbacks, it was like
kind of like last year with the quarterbacks, or even like back in 1983 with Elway, Marino, and all them. Like you always have like one position that just dominates a draft, and this year it's the running backs.
It's the running backs, dude. It's
so Oh, Mile High City brings up this good point about those Ohio State boys. He says, and they don't fumble.
Ooh, yeah, we got one that does though on our team.
Hey, listen, you know what? I made the prediction the other night on Mic'd Up Live on the Broncos media battles. One of the questions that Mike put out there during our battle was, is the starting running back currently on the roster? My opponent, my good friend, Mundungus Creevy from MHRT Network, he said no. I said yes.
Huh?
And I said it's Audric Estime. Like, I still have major faith in Audric Estime. He was a rookie. He had early season issues, and I believe that what really happened to him last season was that after having those early issues as a rookie, he got into his own head. You know what I mean? He got a little flustered, and he got kind of the
confidence maybe take a turn, with
taking an absolute
turnover issues that he was having. Yeah.
Yes. And so then when I think, as the season went on, we started seeing him on the field more and more. And yes, I get they benched him versus Buffalo, but I don't think that's the end of his career. I think he's got a lot of developing to do. And one, he falls forward all the time. Two, he is still a human bowling ball. And I believe with another offseason of preparation and strength training and hand drills to keep a hold of that ball, he's going to be fine. And I believe he will be, maybe not the whole season, because one thing we know is Sean Payton doesn't use a bell cow running back. He's a running back by committee coach. But I do think Audric Estime will be our day one starter.
Wow, that's good, bro. For me, not so much. I mean, I know we look at the turnovers that he had. I know it's not the see all and end all kind of thing for him, But honestly, dude, I think I just feel like we need a running back in that room that's a little more dynamic than Audric Estime.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Dynamic.
Because like that's like say Travion Henderson. Just throwing names out there to give an example that can run in a couple, like multiple schemes, like a zone scheme and a power block scheme, and
he's good to the outside, he's good up the middle.
Yeah, that way you're not so predictable. I think that's also kind of where where we struggled, and and then of course with Travion Henderson, he had that like that burst, that he has that burst of speed, like just game breaking speed, bro, to get away.
I mean, he does. He's got
at any
incredible
point in the
vision,
field.
and when he
Yeah.
and he's patient until he sees the hole, and then he accelerates.
I think that's something in our running back room that we kind of missed. I mean, I know we have Jaleel McLaughlin, but like he's limited because of his size. You
he's
know what I
very
mean?
limited.
Like, yeah, you know what's coming when he's getting the ball because of his size, because he's not the greatest pass protector either. So
No, he's not. That's one thing we do lose with Javonte Williams heading to Dallas is his pass blocking. It's the one area of his game that I was actually all about him for the last 2 seasons.
But I like your idea though, like on the running back, like if you can handcuff him with somebody with speed or something, maybe that, why not? Let's see what we can do. It's always interesting because it's like for the running backs, well, like just in general for the young talent, like Sean Payton and those guys, they like their guys that they drafted. They want to see them develop.
They do. And that's the thing. I don't think the development of Audric Estime is anywhere near over. He still has tread on the tires, and he's still young. And I think he can still be something very special for us. I really do. Mike Carmelini though disagrees with me. He says bag of cats crazy, except that the bag of cats crazy is what Jay brings to the show. So he's not on tonight. So I don't know what you're talking about. Shai asks us, which running back will we take in the NFL draft? Don't know, bud.
A good one.
Good one. We'll get a good one somehow. Round 1, round 2, round 3, we can get a great running back in any of those 3 rounds. So we'll get a good one. But as to who it's going to be, I mean, we're all sitting here with our, I want this guy, I want this guy, I want to.
We're drawing straws at this point, bro, trying to figure it out.
I mean,
honestly,
we are not going to know until the draft. And by the way, that live draft show that we're going to do, you guys make sure that you join us that night because we have an absolute blast. We have dudes from the Orange and Blue Network popping in and out the whole time. Some of us are there the entire time. It's only for night 1 that we do it. Although Isaiah and I were considering maybe doing days 1 and 2 live. Possibly the premium rounds. After that, it gets too hard to podcast when you're doing rounds, 4 through 7. But we'll figure that out. But we definitely will be live for the first round, and it's going to be a blast. We have such a good time on that show. That'll be fun. Make sure that you guys are ready for that one. All right, so let's talk about these positions. We're going to kind of break down. Oh, real quick, last bit of news, then we'll do that. The Broncos did sign a safety today. I don't know if you caught that news, but Sam Franklin Jr., who has spent the last 5 seasons with the Carolina Panthers, the Broncos signed him today. I don't have the specifics up in front of me right now about his contract or anything. But he's going to be a depth piece at safety. Special teams probably.
Special teams. I heard he was a gunner. So maybe like a Tremont Smith replacement that we were looking for.
I mean, we already kind of got that in.
But you know how they are with their special players.
But if you can stack us with special teams talent, that's. Yeah. I got no problem with that.
It kind of raised my eyebrows with that move because it's like with like JL Skinner. Do they move off from him? I don't know, dude. Like I know JL Skinner is one of the top special teamers on our roster. So
but I don't know. All I can say is last season he had 8 total tackles. So I mean he's definitely not the starting safety by any means.
Depth. We need depth.
He's not coming in here, I promise you, to compete against Brandon Jones or Hufanga for the starting position. But he could be depth. He could be depth. And like I said, probably special teams. So that's some news. That is a little nugget of news for Broncos Country is we did sign another safety today.
I like that.
And who knows if he's even going to stick, if he'll even be here come the season. I mean, they got to cut it down to 53 men. And right now, who knows who's going to be on the team at that point. I mean, I think we know who all of our starters are going to be. But so let's talk about that. Let's start with the quarterback position. It's the most important position on the field. The leader of our team, our general, and the one position that for the first time in almost a decade, we don't have to worry about it anymore.
Thank God, man. Gosh.
Like, so let's talk about Bo Nix a little bit. Dak, what is your position on the state of the Broncos quarterback room? You've got Jarrett Stidham in there, backing up Bo Nix still. And then you got this kid Sam
Ellinger or something. Yeah, something like that.
Ellinger.
Yeah. I'm not really too familiar with him, but
I mean, give me kind of your perspective, starting with Bo Nix, going through Stidham, and then just kind of tell me like what you think of this quarterback room and what it's capable of.
I like the quarterback room. I know we talked about maybe, I know the biggest question always is if he's going to have that sophomore slump, but I think most importantly, I don't like with him continuing to like with his preparation, and having that work ethic, that strong work ethic. I don't see it happening. And we already put talent around him, I can see him taking a step forward in terms of like the fundamental things maybe that he needed to go and work on, to improve, to take that next step going into year 2. And like ultimately for me, like I think he was like ranked in the power rankings between 13 and 15, which is really good for a rookie. Now, does he take that next leap going into, throughout the season and to top 10? We'll find out, you know what I mean? But I'm very confident in the quarterback we have, man. It feels so damn good.
It does. Oh, I love it. I'm right there with you. Bo Nix was the undoubted MVP of the Denver Broncos in 2024. I completely agree with you. I don't think there's going to be a sophomore slump from him.
No.
One thing that we know about him is that he has incredible work ethic. And he's very focused, laser focused.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I want to point out, and I brought this up when I named him MVP, my MVP on Media Battles on Thursday, is that we didn't lose anybody important around him. We didn't. Like, really look. I mean, Javonte Williams, okay, he's gone. Okay. But what was he really contributing to Bo Nix?
I guess.
Damn thing. Yeah. Not a damn thing. There, as far as Bo Nix's passing weapons, all still there.
Yeah.
Save maybe for the running back who can pass block. We lost no great pieces around Bo Nix. So he's going into a second season in the same system with pretty much the same exact supporting cast. With, although now you've already added a game-changing tight end to his game. And so, and you're going to add more in the draft. You're going to add more in free agency after the draft, probably, because they always do. I don't see any reason for him to have a sophomore slump. A lot of people keep talking about his sophomore slump, mentioning CJ Stroud and how it happened for him in his sophomore slump. But I mean, look what happened to CJ Stroud in, how many of his Tank Dell, that's his number one weapon, goes down and is out for the season, like early in the season. I mean, all these little things happened there. And so
the line was like subpar over there, so many factors that go into
we have a top 5 O-line. And it hasn't changed,
right?
So I don't see any reason for Bo to go into a sophomore slump. I think he's going to come out and be beating feet to the races, and it's just going to take off, man. Like and he's just going to
excited about it.
I am
very
too.
Exciting.
All right, so let's move on to the running back position. Currently on the roster, this is what we're talking about. Right. Currently on this roster as of today, Tyler Bidet, Audric Estime, Jaleel McLaughlin, and Blake Watson. We can go ahead and roll fullback into there as well because we did sign Michael Burton last week back to the team. He's been gone for a little while, but we brought him back. Sean Payton does like to utilize a fullback, so I like that back. But the state of the running back room, as it stands with those 5 names, what are you feeling? What are you thinking?
We need to add some talent to that.
If the season started tomorrow, how are you feeling?
I'm kind of sweating, bro, on terms of the running back. Shit, bro. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but that's just how I feel, man. Like I just talked about Audric Estime. we can use a little more a running back that's a little more dynamic in that room. To be honest, that'll elevate the offense. I like Audric Estime. Don't get me wrong; he'd be a good like third down running back. Too.
Yep.
But like McLaughlin, he's good. As a as a receiving back. And stuff like that. But and then Blake Watson, I've really not too. I mean, I know he was on the practice squad, but I really didn't really pay any attention to him, so that's on me. I don't, but in the running back group. I know that for sure.
That's okay. That's okay.
We run into the same problems as we did last year in a way,
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of the same, almost a very similar running back room right now as we started last season with. And I think that there's a lot to be said for, the changes that will happen to that room in the offseason between the draft and who knows, maybe going out and getting a veteran running back that can, step in and kind of be a leader in there. I don't know. But if the season was to start tomorrow, I don't think I'd be terribly confident in what we have. Now, I love another guy that I'm pretty high on is Tyler Bidet.
Oh yeah.
I think that he was on par to have a breakout.
Not bad for that back injury, bro.
Yeah, he was getting ready to break out when that happened. Because he was showing some stuff.
He was our best back on the roster, I would say. He can make the
doing
case.
Good, and then he got hurt and was out for the rest of the season, which sucked. Yeah. But we'll see how it goes. I honestly estimate that there will be at least 2 of the 5. Michael Burton will be there. Michael Burton. But 2 of the 4 running backs will still be on the roster after once the season starts.
Yeah.
Who
Very
that
well could happen
is we have yet to see.
It's gonna be an interesting competition.
Yeah, let me see here. We've got a name, a new name in the house. That's Judson Cake, saying guys like Phil Maffa, Lan Larison, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt would be better than anything they have, and they could go undrafted. You're not wrong, man. Like they are very, like, that's the thing. This running back class is so deep, man.
Yeah,
you could literally get a great running back after the draft.
That Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, bro, he played with the Lobos too before transferring to Arizona. So that's I just touching on that real quick. You ring a bell for me.
Another point made by and I didn't say it. New name. Welcome to the Orange and Blue crew, Judson. Thank you.
Welcome, Judson.
He says they liked Bidet enough to take Estime off the playoff game roster.
Yeah, that's a good point, bro. Yeah.
I mean, there it is. Oh, and Judson tells us he's all the way up there in snowy Maine. I think you are truly the first fan we've ever had from the state of Maine. So, hey, I'd love to have you here. Broncos Country is not a geographical location. One of my favorite internet series of all time was the Action Figure Therapy. I don't know if you ever saw those, Dak, but it was like G.I. Joe's, and they put like a background of like a therapist's office in the background, and then they would do these funny voices. They would do these funny voices like, and one of the characters was this drill sergeant guy, and he was like, "If I'm standing on it, it's America," and like, and that's. And that's how I feel about Broncos Country. If there's a Broncos fan standing on it, that's Broncos Country.
Hell yeah, dude. I love it. I love it.
Oh, Judson says I look different without horns and paint. Yes. Well, here's the thing. I only don the horns and paint and my Viking cloak, and I even have I didn't actually show it.
Dude, you were looking fire that night on my
I even have my Viking hammer.
Damn, I love it.
And I have my horn and my ale horn that I drink my beer from and all that, man. I even have pants that are painted with what look like Viking.
I love that you're one of those fans, bro. You just have so much fun with it.
I love it. I do.
Love it.
But I only really don that during game day, and then I donned it the other night because I was like, listen, this is gonna be a battle, man. I'm going to war, so I'm gonna put on my war paint.
Let's flaunt it. Let's go to war, bro. Let's go. What's up?
And usually Usually, to be honest, my beard is like down to here. Like
I've seen that, bro. I tripped
Yeah.
out because you and I are friends.
Usually
on Facebook,
my
and
beard
I
is
seen
like
that,
out
dude. I was like,
here, man.
oh.
I had to trim it back this year because it was starting to get dead at the ends and starting to really like get scraggly and dry, and it was a struggle. And to keep it healthy, you got to trim it back.
Yeah.
So and plus, I'm gonna be honest, my wife, she hates my beard. She hates my beard. Like, she absolutely hates it, and she's constantly berating me to just shave my face, and I'm like, never, ever again. So I came to this this agreement with her that that I would grow my beard out for the season, up to the season and through the season, so that I can be as Mile High Viking as possible. And then when it's the off season, I will trim it back short and then, start the process over again each year. So that's the agreement I have with my wife. And so far, even though she still hates even this much, she's a little bit happier. Let's just say that.
Happy wife, happy life, bro.
Happy wife, happy life. Let's see. Mile High City Baby 303 says, we got to link up for a game this year, Viking. Dude, I mean, I'll let you know, let me know what game you're thinking, because I live in Tennessee, and I don't have the money to do a whole lot of traveling, so I usually only make it to 1, maybe 2 home games a year. But I would be glad to meet up, hang out, go over to our one of our hosts here on the network, Bronco Libre, go over to his tailgate and hang out. Good times, man, good times. So, Judson's asking, what do we think of Efton Chisholm in the 6th round? I haven't been able to do much of a deep dive on Chisholm at this point.
I think he's just like a speedster, bro. Like
he's fast. I know he's fast.
Yeah, that's all I know, bro. You got me.
So I will do a bit of a dive on him this week, and maybe I can answer that on our next episode. I'm not, because I don't want to say something stupid that I'm going to regret here. Trying to play guessing games. So, all right, we've talked the running back room. Neither one of us is incredibly confident in what we have at running back. If the season was to start tomorrow, I'd be like, well, crap. When it comes to that, when it comes to that,
shoots.
Oh,
yep.
Mile High City Baby says, I am in Denver. I usually tailgate with Flagman. Hey, I've been to Flagman's tailgate. I was born and raised in Denver, or in the Denver area. But the Army took me all over the country, and I ended up settling down because I could afford to near Nashville, Tennessee. So I'm always Denver at heart, but I just couldn't afford to move back. But we'll figure something out, Mile High City. We will. All right, so let's move on. We've talked running back. Neither one of us is incredibly confident in running back if the season started tomorrow.
Right.
But we can move on to one of the next most important positions, wide receiver.
Nice.
So currently on this roster as of today is Michael Bandy. I'm not sure how he's still here. Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims, A.T. Perry, Trent Sherfield Sr., Cortland Sutton, and Devon Vele. So, kind of an interesting mix of dudes, some of which I know are there for special teams play.
Right.
But, I mean, I think even if we didn't go get some crazy star power wide receiver in free agency, and even if we didn't get, our next superstar that would be a superstar this year in the draft, I'm sorry. Do you mind if I go first on this one?
You go ahead, my bro. This is you, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'd be very comfortable with the wide receiver core that we have, especially at least the top 3 dudes, and that's of course Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims, and Devon Vele.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I was very high on Vele. I predict him to have like a true breakout year. I think he would have if he hadn't gotten his ribs hurt the way he did in game 1.
Oh, that's right.
And Cortland Sutton is just, he's reliable.
Bro,
He's reliable.
he's
Now,
perfect for ball this year.
and
This
here's
last
the
year.
thing: I've been critical of Court in the past, to the point where I've said that like he's not a true wide receiver one. That on some rosters he'd be a wide receiver two, but this year with Bo, he opened up. Bo Nix showed this is the guy I trust the most. I wouldn't take, I would not put, you can't put a price tag on that kind of trust.
Yeah, that's true.
And so, I think, and then Marvin Mims, he's always kind of been a gadget dude for us, but I think that he's definitely ready now that they're finally, now that he's finally figuring out how to properly run those routes. And now that the coaching staff is finally understanding what the kind of, play that they need to design for him,
That fits
I think he's also going to have a very, very good year. So at the wide receiver position, I can't really, like I said, I don't understand why Michael Bandy is still on the roster. Troy Franklin is still a giant question mark because he just couldn't get anything. And then A.T. Perry, the dude, we brought him in and we never once saw him. Not once.
Yeah.
So again, another big question mark. But with our
question mark
starting three. Yeah, with our top three, though, I could be very confident going into this season if it started tomorrow. What say you?
I'd be pretty confident, especially now with bringing in Evan Ingram. It elevates that room, You look at Devon Vele and Troy Franklin going into year 2 and seeing what kind of progression that they have, and see what kind of stuff they worked on in the offseason to improve, you know what I mean? I'm sure you've seen like clips of Troy Franklin putting in the work in the lab, so I'm excited about him. I think to touch on Troy Franklin real quick, like just he would get separation in terms of running his routes. I think he just wasn't really consistent with catching the ball. But if he can be consistent in terms of that aspect of his game, bro, I think he'll be solid, I'm pretty confident. No, dude, no, dude.
No, listen, I began to wonder. I began to wonder if Troy Franklin rubbed his hands down with baby oil before every game. Going full P. Diddy on his hands, man. Like, here the ball, no, flip right through. Like, listen, that one there, like it happened all season long, but the one that just sticks in my brain is that deep pass from Bo in the end zone, and it was perfect. He had the separation. All he had to do was catch it.
I know.
And it just right through his hands. And I'm sitting there going, isn't that your quarterback that you've played the last 3 seasons with? How in the hell did you miss that? Like, how in the hell are you missing all of these? We drafted this guy.
I just think the timing,
familiarity with Bo Nix.
The NFL game speed kind of, I think, had a lot to do with it in a way.
Yeah.
I know he's fast, but Marvin Mims is going to be the perfect wide receiver too in this wide receiver core this year.
Well,
sure.
Here's the thing:
I can see
a lot of him. I can see a lot of him in the slot too.
Yeah.
Now that you have a game-changing tight end, I could see throwing Marvin Mims into the slot as well and just going ham. Like putting Cortland Sutton on one side, Devon Vele on the other, Mims in the slot, and then you got Evan Ingram in there. Dude, the kind of packages they could put together with that combination. Woo!
It's gonna be fun, bro. This offense is gonna
give me chills.
Take off. Oh yeah. Ooh.
Right?
Yeah,
Judson Jake saying that he did have that great catch in the Bills game. And he did.
that was a good one.
However, man, like we're talking about like an entire season's worth of shitty play. I'm sorry, I try not to curse too much on the show, but crappy play. And then in the one playoff game, you finally make a catch. Okay.
He also in the same game though, he did have like a mental error on a play like where he was supposed to run a certain route and got confused. So it sucks because it's like
Judson does say A.T. Perry was practicing with the ones at the end of the season. Yes, it just was so shocking that we brought him in mid-season and then never saw him. Like I honestly, you never saw him to the point where if you were to show me a picture of A.T. Perry, I wouldn't know who the hell I'm looking at.
Yeah, he's
You know,
6'5".
like-
I know he's like a big receiver with speed, but like I kind of wonder who he would replace in terms of like Devon
Yeah, I don't know.
Vele. You know, like
No,
don't
he's
know.
not. I don't
Yeah,
think he's. I
yeah,
don't
so.
think so. I think Devon Vele is going to be the wide receiver 2 for this.
I'm
team.
excited about Devon Vele this year. Actually,
I
too.
am too. I am
Yeah.
too. What a pickup that was in the 7th round for us. Like,
Good.
woo! Okay,
Yeah.
so I think we're both, based on what we've talked about, both very comfortable with the wide receiver position.
Yeah, I'd be good with it.
I think that obviously they'll make some changes and things might get mixed up, and we might see some names that we don't want to see go hit the
True.
hit the road. But we'll see what happens. One thing I can say is if the season started tomorrow with Bo Nix and that wide receiver and the starting wide receivers 1 through 3 especially, I would be comfortable with this position.
Chemistry matters, bro. Chemistry matters in this game. So
Yes, it does. Okay. And then of course I kind of forgot to mention, we didn't hit on him too much. Trent Sherfield that we signed in this offseason from the Vikings. He is really not a guy you're going to see a whole lot on the field as a pass catcher. He is a special teams weapon.
I like him
That's
as a
what-
replacement for little Jordan Humphrey, though. Like, if he does get
I mean,
running
you
the
could
offense
use him that way. You could
and
use
some
him that way.
packages with
Yeah. But okay, moving on. Tight end. As of today, the tight end room consists of Nate Adkins, Evan Ingram, Lucas Kroll, Adam Troutman, and Thomas Yasmin. Whew, that's a big wide receiver or big tight end room. So I'm very Dak, you go first on this one. How do you feel about the tight end room as of today if the season was to start tomorrow?
I'm feeling pretty confident. Because you can use Troutman as your inline tight end, but you got Joker and Evan Ingram, bro, and I'm freaking stoked, bro, what he's gonna do for our offense. Yeah. So I'm confident. I'm gonna just make it short, dude. I'm confident in that room. I know Lucas Kroll, he's athletic. I know Lucas Kroll. I think we just extended him or whatever the case was. I don't remember, but
Yeah.
yeah, we brought. He's coming back. Like, he's
We just
athletic.
extended Lucas Kroll.
It'll be interesting to see what he brings. But I like Nate Atkins, bro. He kind of reminds me of like a Kyle Juszczyk, a poor man's Kyle Juszczyk. Because he's utilized as like a fullback too. So. Yeah.
I'm with you. I am with you. The one concern I do have is Evan Ingram is the Joker, but one thing the whole NFL knows about him, he is not a great inline blocker.
Yeah.
They all know that, and they can all game plan for that.
Yeah.
So that when you put Adam Troutman in the game or you put Lucas Kroll in the game, they're probably going to be going, aha.
That's right. It's good to be.
That makes me a little nervous. But beyond that, still, you cannot overstate what especially in a Sean Payton system, what having a Joker tight end will do for this team. And the thing is, I will point out, we did not have a tight end room that any of us were confident in last season, and yet, I gotta kind of channel my inner Sean Wayans. But wait, there's more.
I like Sean.
But
I love Sean Payton.
God, but wait, there's more. The only thing I didn't do was the drool. I didn't drool. But anyway, but one thing we can say is that even without a tight end room that we were actually confident in last season, Sean Payton and Bo Nix made some magic with the tight ends that we had. Adam Troutman caught touchdown passes. Nate Adkins caught touchdown passes.
They really made lemonade out of lemons, bro. Let's be honest, bro. Let's call it.
I kind of feel like they made lemonade out of urine.
Yeah, I thought, dude, it's crazy because it's like yeah.
But so yes, I am with you. I am confident in this tight end room as it stands. I think it's going to get shook up a little. I think we take a tight end in the draft to develop behind Evan Ingram. And so it's likely that, right now, what did we say? There's 5 dudes in the tight end room. Not all 5 of these guys are going to be on the roster.
Probably like 3 we end up with,
guaranteed.
maybe. Yeah.
We'll probably field 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously Evan Ingram is 1. I think you would be stupid to let Adam Troutman go.
I like Troutman.
And we've got Lucas Kroll that we just extended. So we'll see. But as it stands right now, if the season was to start tomorrow, we are both relatively confident in the tight end room. Yeah. Okay. Back to the chat real quick. Mile High City Baby says Troutman is awful.
He feels a good role of what he needs to do in terms of the offense, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I can't say that I completely agree. I think that he is good. I think that Adam Troutman is a good player for certain moments, certain situations, certain schemes.
Mm-hmm.
He'll definitely, Evan Ingram will definitely be our starting tight end. There's no question. It won't be Adam Troutman anymore.
Yeah.
But let's see. We got Judson Cake. Yo, Ingram is gonna solve third down issues. Dude, I'm picturing it in my head. I can already see Evan Ingram crossing the middle of the field on third down and 7 and just taking a bullet from Bo Nix and just, first down.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. And Mile High City says he can block, he just can't get open. And that's why we're saying, like, you have your joker in Evan Ingram to catch passes. Adam Troutman is your inline blocker. Granted, that was the concern that I fielded, was that, is that, when you see them put someone like Adam Troutman in the game, they can game plan around it. Because
in the times he was open, Bo Nix missed him on a few plays. So it's like one of those things. Yeah, like whatever.
We got my good buddy, D-Rock, in the house saying, I know it's off script. I like linebacker Carson Schwessinger in the second round if he falls to us. I don't think he'll fall to us. I think he'll go before we have our second round pick, but he is good. He's got good. He's good sideline to sideline, and he's got quick feet. So he would be a definitely a good one. Now, Judson Cake, his one-handed touchdown was great on National Tight End Day. Yes, sir, it was. Okay, moving on. We're still on the offense. We've got about a little less than a half an hour left in the show, so we can keep on rolling here. Let's talk. We're just gonna instead of going through player to player, we can mention the ones that we really, really appreciate. But let's just talk the offensive line as a whole. We don't need to go center, guard in this one. But as far as the offensive line goes, Dak.
I'm happy with the line.
Season started tomorrow. How do you feel about our offensive line?
I'm very happy about it. They ranked number 2, I think I was checking out in PFF. So that's pretty solid, Brown.
They were number 1 in pass protection.
Yeah. And they were like number 1 in run block win rate, which is crazy. So that's we just didn't have running backs that could utilize it. Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly.
Here we opened you a hole, but you went the wrong way. Where are you going? You ran right into your own buddy's ass. What are you doing?
Yeah.
But obviously I'm a huge Garrett Bowles fan. And I have been for a very long time. I know that a lot of Broncos country is still way down on him. But, I've met the guy. I've hung out with the guy
That's so cool.
for an extended period of time. Had some really good conversations. And just the kind of player he is, like the way he ranks, dude, he's one of the best left tackles in the NFL. He's phenomenal. And, of course, you cannot forget Quinn Miners. Quinn Miners is an absolute bruiser, bro.
Dude.
Oh, my God. Now that we have a fullback again, and now that we have, and once we have a, as you put it earlier, a smart and running back with good vision, dude, the things that we're going to see open up at the hands of Quinn Miners is going to be unbelievable.
Yeah.
I do think that we need to look towards the future, past Mike McGlinchey, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But he did well too. So if the season was to start tomorrow, offensive line.
Sign me up. We're good.
All right. I'm in on the offensive line as well.
Yeah.
They're a solid unit, and they've been working, and they're getting another season, all of them together.
With
So,
Bo too, man. That's awesome. Yeah, let's go.
yeah. Let's see. Judson says O-line is solid. Could see them drafting someone like Seth McLaughlin.
Oh, I like
agree.
Seth. Ohio State is nice.
I mean, that would be a good pickup for us. We got Najee Dragons,
something like that.
Says, hey mate, I really love your stream. Keep it up. The next stream will be watched by me and my team. Feel free to add me up on Discord, Shady2. Well, we appreciate that you like the show, and hope to see you next time and with your team. We got D-Rock saying we got to look into drafting either Ben and Mike's replacement for next season. Yeah, I think that it's time to maybe move past the ridiculously large contract that we gave Ben Powers. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I had a hangnail. I had to rip it off. I think that the contract we gave Ben Powers in the first place, I think it seemed warranted at the time. But then he just kind of hasn't quite. I mean, he's been good. He's been solid, but I don't think he's warranted the amount of money that we've paid for him.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think he's left. There's a little bit left to be desired, and sometimes he's like. I think I'd like to see a little more consistency for sure.
One thing I will say about Ben Powers, he doesn't commit penalties.
That's true. Yeah.
I think I
kind of wonder too.
I think in his 2 years in Denver, he's committed 2 penalties.
I think one thing to point to real quick is just like Wattenberg and him on that side. Does he trying to pick up for Wattenberg a lot of the slack?
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah,
Better
we'll
than
see.
that, yeah.
We'll see. Channel Steve Atwater. We'll see. All right. So yeah, we're both confident in the O line. Now let's go to defense. We've been on offense the entire time.
I love defense.
Why don't we start with let's just go with our defensive ends on this one. You got on the team as of today, defensive ends, Zach Allen, John Franklin Myers, Matt Henningsen. He's still on this team?
Oh wow.
And Yoma Owazarike. Those are our 4 defensive ends that we've got. Zach Allen, dude, get that man his extension.
He's a nasty dude, bro. Please.
Get that man his freaking extension.
The way he just pushes that pocket, man. The pressure. I was like, oh my god.
John Franklin Myers, I felt like is solid.
That was a sick steal, bro. That was robbery from the Jets, that trade.
Yes, it was. Matt Henningsen, like I said, I didn't even know he was still on this team, to be honest, until we were talking about this. And then Yoma Owazarike, we never really got to see everything that we wanted to from him before he got suspended for a year. And then he, for gambling. And then he came back, and we still saw barely anything of him. So there was a major question mark as far as the Yoma Owazarike goes. So as it stands right now, defensive end, if the season starts tomorrow, how feel you?
I would, I'd be okay with it. Of course, having Zach Allen and Jonathan Franklin Myers really feels good. Not worrying about the depth. I mean, I look at the depth and then I'm worried, But if they're healthy, we're fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think Yoma Owazarike really could still be something.
Yeah.
We just haven't been able to see enough for me to say one way or the other.
I think he spent all of last year just trying to get back to that football thing,
I'm going to be honest with you. I love JFM. I love Zach Allen. Both of them. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But if the season, for me, if the season were to start tomorrow, I'd be wishy-washy on how I feel about our defensive end, our defensive ends room. I think that we could use another big body, strong, fast player to back them up in case of injury.
Right.
So
yeah, that's why I was like worried about the depth.
I'm
like,
kind of on the
starters. That's fair.
The starters are solid, but I think we need some depth in there.
Sure.
Maybe not to go, definitely not premium round pick.
Yeah, you could get someone like in the 4th or whatever.
You could go in the 5th or the 6th, I think, for a competent defensive end to start.
True.
To start developing there. So yeah, I'm wishy-washy. Are you kind of in the same boat, or are you?
Yeah,
happy with it?
I'd be like mid. I'd be mid, just because of
All
the
right.
depth behind those guys. Yeah.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Let's see. Judson Cake says Jake Majors in the 6th at the very least with contracts getting done. Okay.
I like Majors.
I can see that. I don't know that I know Jake Majors well enough yet. So that's another one that based on your
Solid IQ
recommendation there,
guy.
Judson. Huh? What?
I like Jake Majors. He's a solid IQ guy. He's pretty athletic, in terms of playing the position. I think
Yeah.
he'd be an upgrade
I'll
over
have to dive more.
Wattenberg.
I'll have to dive more
Yeah.
on him. I don't know a whole lot about him. Right. He also says another 6th round edge in Ryland. Could be a good pickup. We've lost you. You're on mute, brother.
Sorry about that. I'm I'm not too familiar with Ryland. I'd have to look into him.
It's okay, buddy. Rookie mistake. All right. Moving on. Our defensive tackles. All right. We have 4. We've got Jordan Jackson. We got DJ Jones. We got Jordan Miller, and we got Malcolm Roach.
Yes.
Yeah. Getting DJ back, that's huge for us.
I'm so happy for him to be back with us.
I think he could do a little bit more. That they could do a little bit more work with him in the off season. Especially in against the pass. And all that. But as far as stopping the run, even though it didn't seem like it, he was one of the best. He was one of the best defensive tackles against the run in the NFL last season. So very happy there. And of course, Malcolm Roach. I mean, he had multiple sacks, and he did a good job rushing from the interior. Solid, decently solid against the run. So I like that. We got 2 guys backing them up in Jordan Jackson and Jordan Miller, the Jordans. Also both pretty solid dudes. Not the starters, but both solid guys, I think. So
like Jordan Jackson,
me personally, I'm actually happy with the defensive tackle position going if the season started tomorrow.
I'd be happy too. And then if it came to the draft, we added somebody, that's a cherry on top. Why not? So yeah. I'm on board with you.
Judson is kind of he's given us the full name so that we can do our deep dive on him. Antoine Powell Ryland.
Awesome.
So I will definitely be looking in on Ryland. Judson says, sorry, I had knee surgery on March 5th, so I've just been laying in bed watching film. Nothing wrong with that. Man. I wish I could do that. I'm a disabled veteran who walks with a cane and all that stuff. So I don't do a whole lot of walking and going places either. Just in general, I haven't for the last 8 years. But D-Rock says, let's go, Tillman.
Yeah.
That's right. Love Dondre Tillman. Okay. Linebacker. Let's see here. Wow. This is what I hate. I'm going off of ESPN, and I wish that they would put them as either edge or off ball for linebacker.
Oh, yes, yeah. They just list them on that.
Yeah, they're all just listed as linebacker. So I'm just gonna go through it. Lavelle Bailey, who had that in the preseason, he did solid, amazing interception. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he took it all the way to the house.
Arizona game, last game, yeah, okay,
yeah, I believe so. Mm-hmm. And then we have Nick Benito. We got KJ Cloyd, Jonathan Cooper, Jonah Ellis, Andrew Farmer, Dre Greenlaw. It looks like they did kind of lay it out right, though. They did lay it out right. So at the edge position, here we go. At the edge position, we have Lavelle Bailey, Nick Benito, KJ Cloyd, Jonathan Cooper, Jonah Ellis, and Andrew Farmer. There's some names there I don't even recognize. But the edge is one of those positions that you stack a lot of dudes, and you just kind of hope that your number one guys don't go down. But
Yes.
if the season started tomorrow, dude, with having just Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, Jonah Ellis out there, dude, I'd be fine.
I'd
Oh
be
man,
happy. They led
I'm
the
so
league in
happy with that.
sacks, dude. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
they
let's
killed
sign
it.
you up.
They killed it, and it was amazing.
Yeah, man.
And Dondre Tillman, sorry, on the edge as well, right?
Yeah, I like Dondre Tillman.
Like,
He'd
dude,
make
all
plays
those
when he was out there.
those four dudes right there. Take any of those other names, you can just throw them away, man. Like those four right there, man. I am very, very comfortable with the edge position if the season started tomorrow. They would be wrecking house. Wrecking house.
Yes.
Straight up home wreckers. Okay. Off-ball linebacker. We got a major upgrade.
Greenlaw
linebacker.
Yeah.
Dre Greenlaw.
Dre
Drew
Day.
Sanders, Alex Singleton, and Justin Strnad. You know, I think Alex Singleton will be returning to form. I think he'll come back. He'll be healthy. But right now it's still up in the air who is going to start next. I mean, I think it's undisputed, right? That Greenlaw will be Greenlaw will be starting. Yes. I think now it's just a question of who's going to start next to him.
Drew Sanders. I know Jay Weaver's talked about being.
Jay's high on Drew. I'm kind of over.
How do you feel? Where are you at with him? Okay.
I think they did him the Broncos did Drew Sanders a major disservice when they moved him to other positions that weren't his position and tried to develop him somewhere else, because I think it took time away from his career that he could have been developing into what he should be, which would be a starting, inside linebacker. All that time they kept him on the edge. It was a mistake. So I don't yet know exactly how I feel about Drew Sanders, because I feel like he had some good moments in the 2024 campaign, but it just wasn't enough for me to say one way or the other. So, I mean, how do you feel about the linebacker position?
I mean, I love the addition of Dre Greenlaw, but I'm kind of mid and here's the reason why. I know I'll probably get thrown eggs at me, but because of the injury history within that linebacker room, Yeah. Everybody suffered injuries in that room, other than Strnad maybe.
It's one of the most injured positions in football. It's always been that way.
Yeah, so I'm mid on it. Give me someone like some insurance through the draft too, I'll be happy. But we'd be okay, I guess, going into the season.
I think we'd be okay with the addition of Greenlaw. Having Greenlaw there changes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we'd be fine. I can't say that I'm super confident in it, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, we can get by. We got by last year because at this point that Judson Cake brings up, middle defense was terrible last year, and yet we had a top 3 defense.
Yeah.
So
and you added to that with the additions made. So
as it stands, I'd be okay. I'm not saying that I'm like, oh my god, the lineman. It's not the best ever, but I'd be fine. Dre Greenlaw changes a lot. So
it does.
Yeah, I'd be fine. Okay, moving on. Cornerback. I love this position, dude. Oh boy, I love our cornerback room. You got Chris Abrams, Drain, my boy Cat. MIZZOU, baby. You got Damari Mathis. Jay is like all over that dude's nuts, and I just anymore. I'm like, dude, what
I'm just kidding, because that's kind of where it's been with him.
Right.
Like, I'm just
I'm like, Jay, come on, man. Like, give it up. He's never gonna take you to prom. But and then you got Jaquan McMillan, who I think is gonna be
tough in the slot. He's tough in the slot. I like him.
He is. That's what I was gonna say. He's definitely our slot corner. He's definitely a great slot corner for us. Riley Moss, the great white hope.
Yes.
I love me some Riley Moss, dude. He's been one of my favorites since even when he was out. Yeah, I like it a lot. Even after he was drafted and like was out for a good long while, I was still like, wait, guys, just wait. Just wait. Moss from Iowa is gonna tear this league a new one. I declare. So I love me some Riley Moss.
Like
Quentin
Riley Moss.
Newsom. Don't know.
Practice squad
He's-
guy, I think.
Yeah, practice squad guy. Pat Surtain the second.
Defensive player of the year, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
And Reese Taylor. So I mean, you got a lot of names there. You got 7, which I mean is about what you want to have on a roster for cornerback.
Yeah.
So I think that they can do some, maybe a little bit more movement in the offseason to maybe
Yes.
mix it up a little. But as far as our starters go, bro, I mean, at cornerback,
solid with
Jaquan
the
McMillan in
starters.
the slot, Riley Moss, cornerback 2, and Pat Surtain. And I think if you want me to hit the hot take button, just say it. I think Chris Abrams' drain is about to show this league who he is.
I am on board with you, bro. I love Chris Abrams' dream, bro. He's gonna be a vital piece for that secondary going into your team.
As a Mizzou alum, I was a huge fan of him in college. When we drafted him, I was super freaking excited. And I think that, I think that he's going to have that kind, this season, he's going to maybe not, I don't know about become a household name, but he's going to put some people on notice.
He's a good fourth corner, bro, in your room. That's all you need at this point, right? So,
I mean, you got to keep 6 in case of injuries. You got to keep 6.
6, right? But like 4, like if you have 4 guys, like ultimately, like what I'm saying, like,
he would be great in
that you can
rotation to
down
keep
on
some guys,
right?
to give some guys a rest. I'd be comfortable rotating him in, and letting Riley Moss go to the sideline for a few minutes.
Right.
I think that he'll do good. I'm really
Levi Wallace.
Excited.
Shit.
Oh God, let's oh man, you had to bring that up.
Step back, I think I'm gonna vomit.
It hurt me.
Oh God, oh gross. Okay, so as it stands, the cornerback room right now, season starts tomorrow. What's your feeling?
I'm good. I'm good with it.
I'm real good.
Yeah.
All right. Last position group on the defense is the safety position.
Safety. I feel so much safer now that we're there. I'm just kidding.
I feel so much safer.
Oh,
I feel so much safer now.
Yeah.
Of course, that is another position that got a major upgrade in this offseason. Talanoa Hufanga, who
God,
was
the human missile, bro.
like, dude, I was so high on him in free agency that I did an entire segment on him during one of our episodes, and praying and going, guys, we need to get him in Denver. We need him here. I was more excited about signing Talanoa. Me personally, I was more excited about signing Hufanga than I was about signing Greenlaw. That's how excited I am about Talanoa Hufanga.
Awesome. Yeah.
And
like
here's why. We'll talk about the position, but here's why. Brandon Jones is a free safety. That is what he is made to do. However, the way he had to play last season, he was our leading tackler on the defense.
Dude, that's ridiculous.
There is no reason that your free safety should be the leading tackler on your team. That means dudes are getting way too far out into the next level.
Waxed, bro, at the second level, bro. God.
So, so getting rid of Devon Key. Bye. Later. Bringing in Talanoa Hufanga, who, like you said, is a piss missile, and he absolutely just
lies all over.
He's gonna be a game wrecker. It will allow Brandon Jones to do what he is meant to do, which is roam the field and hunt interceptions.
Ball hawk,
and that makes me so excited. So, talking about the safety position, Talanoa Hufanga, so excited. What I heard somebody recently call him Palomalu Jr.
Hey, I've seen that comparison. Like, why not? Yeah, dude.
He's even got the hair, man.
You got the flow to go with it, bro. Dude.
Yeah. No, what they need to do is he needs to have a Pro Bowl All Pro season, and then another one. Get to being a household name, and then do one of those Head and Shoulders commercials, him side by side with Palomalu.
I like that.
But okay, we got him. Devon Key is still on the roster.
Oh, okay.
PJ Locke is still on the roster. Tanner McAllister, JL Skinner, Keydron Smith, and Delaren DeLaren Turner-Yell is still on the roster. I mean, a few of those guys, Keydron Smith, Turner-Yell at this point, and McAllister, those are special teams guys. They're there. They can be depth at safety, but those are special teams guys. Devon Key, he really struggled in the back half of the season. PJ Locke did, he was solid at times, but again,
He's a good
struggled.
depth piece. He'll be good at depth to have. Yeah.
They're I feel like both those guys, I wouldn't be angry if the Broncos keep them as depth, both of them. But obviously, Brandon Jones and Hufanga are your starters, like undeniable.
Agreed.
Sure. So with those guys right now on this team, how would you feel about the safety room were we to start the season tomorrow? I'm
fairly confident. Like if you add to that room, it's just another position that,
and they will. I promise you that they will. Yeah. And don't forget,
you want to add Nick Aminawari from the draft too. My gosh.
Well, and we kind of forgot because it's not on here yet, but we did add Sam Franklin Jr. today as well.
That's right.
From Carolina. So that's a pretty deep safety room.
That is.
But I think with Brandon Jones, at least with our front four, our beginning four, Brandon Jones, absolute monster. What a steal we got. From Jacksonville, right? Didn't we get him from Jacksonville? Miami. Sorry, I knew it was one of the Florida.
No, you're good. No, you're
Florida. Good. But him with him and Hufanga, and then backing them up with Devon Key and PJ Locke, who both have experience at both free and strong safety. I think we'd be just fine.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah.
So
I would be happy.
All right, and then last but not least, we got 3 dudes on special teams. We're going to talk about them because they're on the roster.
Yes,
and
sir.
That's currently Will Lutz, kicker, Matt Hack, punter, and then we got Michael Jabroni Fraboni.
He a hustler.
I mean, what can you say? There's like 32 long snappers in the league. Like you just kind of you got one. Congratulations, you have a long.
I see him hustle down the field like when they kick off and all that. So I'll give him that. He's a hustler, bro.
He does hustle. Will Lutz,
I like Will Lutz. I like him. People clowned when they traded for him.
Jay got some massive crap for tossing Lutz's name out in his media battle. Over there, he lost a ton of points for it. But Will Lutz did. Will Lutz did tie Jason Elam's single season kicking record. This last season, and
that's right.
Yeah, he tied it, and he definitely. And let's be honest, Elam is the best kicker in the history of the Broncos. But Will Lutz did tie his single season field goal record. And I felt like he was pretty solid on kickoffs and solid on on his field goals. I don't think that you can completely put a couple of those misses on him. That he did have it during the season. So I'm very confident in our kicker. I am very confident in our kicker, and I'm very happy to roll it back with Will Lutz continuing that at that position.
Have Brandon McManus.
Yeah. Don't that is so far. That is so far in our past. I mean,
you're a monster.
Matt Hack, punter. I don't know enough about him.
I just know he has some kind of connection with our new
he's got some connection with Darren Rizzi. Yeah. But
that's all I know.
One thing I did note about him is that at least this last season, his net average in punting yards was like 48. And I'm like, ooh, I don't like that.
Yikes.
I don't.
They'll be in competition. But
maybe we'll see. I really hope that maybe we're working with Darren Rizzi. He can up that a bit because he needs to. Get in that gym, dude. Start doing some squats. Drop that butt to the ground and start building them legs up, man.
I hope that mile high air at home at least helps the punt.
Yeah, right. Because he's got to
air under that bad boy.
You got to be averaging more than 48 yards a punt, man. Come on.
Yeah, oh my God.
So we've already talked Mitchell Fraboni. So our special teams specialists, if the season was to kick off right now, I feel like I'm middling on that because I just don't think that Matt Hack is. I have the utmost confidence in our new punter just yet.
Field position matters a lot, dude. Like in terms of getting the ball back on offense, and yeah, that does give me some pause for special teams, that position particularly. But other than that, I'd be okay. But yeah, just
well, we've gone through the whole team, all player positions. So the last part of the show today, very simple. If the season was to start tomorrow, Dak, with our current roster across the board, what is the Broncos' record?
11-6.
11-6. I like the confidence.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to go. Man, I hate to be the guy that just agrees, because I always love to mix it up a bit so that there's something to discuss.
Good. Like no.
But I'm with you. I'm right there with you. 11-6, because we went 10-7 last season. And again, this is all, you take away those first 4 games where both struggled while he was learning the system and coming into his own as a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
He will not have that 4-game slump coming out the gate this year.
Yeah, dude. He didn't.
You take away those. You've added. You really have not lost anywhere. You really have not lost any majorly important player on this roster.
Right.
And so you take that into consideration, the fact that and the fact that we were 10-7, and that we lost quite a few of our games by 1 score or less. You put all these guys into another year together in the systems that they're now familiar with and can get even more comfortable with. Yeah, man, it's going to be better. So I'll go. I'll go 11-7. I said on Media Battles on Thursday, I said 12. I said 12-5.
Ooh, I like that.
But I said that. I said that after, taking into consideration us adding some talent and depth in the draft and in free agency. Even though, wow, man, somebody's not happy there, Dak.
Sorry, my little boy.
Oh,
I apologize.
I have kids, dude. They do it too. You're good. You have nothing to apologize for. But
okay.
What I will say, I think I still stand by my 12-6. My 12-5 prediction.
5. I like that.
However, I hold that for after the draft and after free agency ends. So
yes,
as it stands with this roster right now, 11-6.
11-6. Yes.
So there you go.
Yes, please. Yeah, this was
fun,
go. Man.
This was fun, right?
This was really fun, and time flew by. I'm already looking at it. I'm like, oh my god, we talked about the whole roster, and it didn't even feel that. Like, you know what I mean? We're like, it just got away from us so quick.
Absolutely,
but it was so
fun. So we've had a great conversation, you and me, and Judson Cake popping in saying, "Thanks, guys, appreciate you, Judson.
Thank you, man, for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. Please, if you guys haven't already, and you liked what you saw or you liked what you heard, I beg of you. I'm not going to beg. Who am I to beg? But I am going to ask you to please jump on over and like, subscribe, share, comment on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Check out our audio podcast on all your favorite platforms for Orange and Blue Network. And if you haven't already, we are partnered with the MHRT Network. So please also like, subscribe, share, and comment to them on all of their platforms. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and even on Instagram. Guys, this has been an absolute blast of a show. I felt I was kind of nervous about it because I came up with it on the fly and was like, what can we possibly talk about tonight? I feel like we nailed it, bro.
Nailed it.
We definitely did. And I thank you for joining me and being here with me. It was a lot of fun. And I'm really excited.
We just become best friends.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So, guys, thank you for joining us for tonight's edition of the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast here on the Orange and Blue Network.
Thank you guys so much.
and on the MHRT network. We will be back with you tomorrow night on Broncos Talk with a 6'10" Mexican Adon Diaz and Bronco Libre. They got it. They're holding it down, and they've got a great show. So do not miss that. Also, Fridays, if you speak Spanish and you want a good Broncos podcast in Spanish and the only fan-led, entirely in Espanol Broncos podcast in the world, check out Viva los Broncos this Friday. And then we'll also be debuting in June. Broncos Bros, hosted by
Broncos
that
Bros.
Guy,
Yours
right
truly,
over there,
Mad
and
Cat.
his brother-in-law George.
It's gonna be a lot of fun, you
Montoya.
guys. Yes.
So,
Exciting.
guys, thank you for being with us. We're gonna leave you with a big mile-high salute, and and as always, go Broncos!
Go Broncos!
Orange and blue, we're here for you. Talking Broncos all day through. No stopping us, we're on the loose. Come join the crew, no bad news. Podcast vibes so fresh and true. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Catching up on all that we knew. Hit play, let the episodes accrue. Nothing rhymes.